Hello everyone. My name is Peter. Welcome to the true stories being shared here. Please sit back and listen to today's story. AITA for not letting my ex-husband's new girlfriend have a piece of his mother's jewelry. Posting on a throwaway because my family is after me. My ex and I, let's call him Joe, have known each other since high school, started dating when we were 17, got married at 19, and divorced 20 years later. It's been 2 years since then. We have a wonderful daughter, Sarah, who's 8 years old and has adjusted well to our separation. Joe and I get along great. The divorce was amicable, and we remain good friends. It's not like we hang out alone or anything, but we don't argue or make a fuss. We help each other out, and most importantly, we support each other because, in the end, our number one priority will always be Sarah and doing what's best for her. We've both moved on and are in long-term, serious relationships with other people. His girlfriend, Lily, is wonderful and truly good to him. I've never had any conflict with her and enjoy spending time with her when we all gather together during holidays and other significant events or celebrations. Until last week. Joe's parents both passed away within a month of each other last summer, and it was devastating for all of us. Although Joe and I had been divorced for about a year by then, they still treated me like family, and I loved them dearly. Joe and Lily hadn't started dating, so she never met them, which is a shame because they were amazing people. Last week, Sarah received a box in the mail from her aunt, who was responsible for distributing my late mother-in-law's jewelry among the kids and grandkids. She had a huge collection of both costume and more expensive jewelry. I let Joe know about it, and he explained that some of it was left to me, so he would come over, and we'd go through it together. Lily came with him, which was fine. It was incredibly tough, and both Joe and I were very emotional, so I was glad she was there to support him. Here's where I think I might be the asshole. As we were going through the jewelry, we picked out a few of the less expensive pieces for Sarah, and I selected a few rings, a necklace, and 3 pairs of earrings to eventually pass down to Sarah too. Joe and I agreed that the rest would be placed in a locked box that we each have a key to at my house and would stay there until Sarah was older, at which point it would be passed down to her. One of the pieces we put away was a beautiful ruby and diamond necklace and earring set that was clearly very real, and we believe had been passed down from Joe's grandmother. Lily admired the set and commented on how it would look perfect with the wedding dress she was eyeing. They're not engaged, or even with some of her date night evening wear. Joe didn't respond to her, and when she put it down, I wrapped it up and placed it with the rest of the jewelry in the lockbox. Since then, Lily has texted me multiple times asking about them and whether she could borrow them. At one point, she accused me of just wanting them for myself, and pointed out that Joe and I were divorced, so I had no right to keep them. She also mentioned that once they got married, the jewelry would legally become part of their marital property, so I was just delaying the inevitable. I have no intention of wearing them. Per my agreement with Joe, I'll wear the pieces I selected, and the rest will be saved for Sarah. I have no intention of taking anything out unless necessary, and even then, I'll let Joe know what's happening with it. Joe has been silent, and I haven't said anything because I don't want to cause any conflict that might affect Sarah. So, am I the asshole for not giving in and letting Lily have some of the jewelry that belongs to my daughter? TLDR, my ex-husband's girlfriend wants some expensive jewelry left for my daughter after his mother passed away, and I didn't let her have it, instead putting it away for my daughter. Related comments. Novel Sprinkles 3333. She sounds like someone who's quick to elevate herself, doesn't she? That's a huge red flag, and I hope your ex sees that too. The greed is truly disgusting. OP, it's weird that this is coming up now. She's been wonderful since they started dating and has been really good about taking things slowly with Sarah and building a relationship with both her and me. Up until now, it's been nothing but green flags, and I was so happy he found someone who seemed like a great fit for him and made him really happy. I don't want to cause problems between them, but this is definitely concerning, and if this is her true nature, She's not someone I want around my daughter. Bigsta Shidat, it sounds like Joe has been silent on the radio this entire time with Lily. He might not want to get involved, or knows that the jewelry is meant for Sarah. The fact that Lily said it would be great to wear at her wedding and would be marital property once she and Joe are married is delusional. They're not even engaged. Unless I missed something in the story, isn't all the jewelry legally Sarah's? OOP, I know they've talked about marriage, but there's been no proposal or anything beyond that. Before this happened, I was excited at the thought of them getting married. Lily has been so good for my ex and Sarah up until now. I'm quite upset that she might be revealing her true colors now, and I hope that's not the case. The jewelry was left to Sarah with a note that I could pick out what I wanted from it because MIL specifically stated that I could have anything I wanted as long as it eventually went to Sarah. It's unlikely it won't go to her when I pass or sooner if she wants it when she's older. She's my only child and will eventually inherit everything I own. Commenter, it doesn't matter if Joe and Lily are engaged, married, or not. OOP, no, they're not engaged. Marriage has been discussed between them, but that's as far as it's gone. I was excited about the prospect until all this happened. I'm glad it's not just me finding this strange. It's not even like she's asking for a piece of jewelry with little sentimental value, but for family heirlooms that have been passed down. Sarah is too young to truly appreciate it all right now, but she had a great relationship with her grandmother, and even after the divorce, we FaceTimed every week, and I know how much it will mean to her when she's older. Commenter, OOP on who legally owns the jewelry and how OOP and Joe fit into this with the jewelry being placed in the lockbox. OOP, the jewelry was left to Sarah and me. I was allowed to pick what I wanted from what was sent because it was clear it would be left to Sarah when I pass, or it would be given to her earlier when she's older. I have no other children or stepchildren, so Sarah will inherit everything I own in the future, including the pieces MIL left to me. Since it was his mother's, I felt it was right for him to be there while I sorted through it. If there was anything he wanted to keep with him, I wouldn't have objected at all, because even though MIL and I were close, and it's now Sarah's, that was his mother. He and his parents had a wonderful relationship, and I would never say he couldn't have something of hers as long as we stuck to the agreement that everything would ultimately go to Sarah, because that's who it was all intended for. I tried to do the right thing because we're still friends, and I know how hard it was for him to lose his parents. At the time, I was really grateful Lily was there to support him emotionally because it was hard to see the pieces my MIL wore and cherished regularly. Just a deep reminder that she was gone and how much she was missed. When FIL passed away, Joe and his brother inherited a massive gun collection with instructions to divide it among the other siblings and their children as they saw fit. FIL and I were close, though not as close as I was with MIL, so when the time came, Joe asked me to pick something from his collection to keep as a memento of his dad, and with the understanding that it would eventually go to Sarah. I need to call the aunt who sent the jewelry to confirm, but I suspect it's a similar setup, with the jewelry being given to the girls to divide and distribute as they saw fit. Joe was aware it would be sent to Sarah and me, but there was no mention of any specific jewelry being set aside for him or his brother. Update. A lot of you asked for an update, so here it is, really quickly. I wrote this yesterday and realized it might be better to create a new post rather than edit that one. So, here's what's going on. Yesterday, Joe took an extended lunch break and came to the house without Lily. I explained to him why I was reluctant to bring everything up again, but I was tired of being harassed about the jewelry, and I truly felt it belonged to Sarah, not to either of us, and certainly not to Lily. He agreed immediately and was shocked to learn she asked about it, and then became angry when I showed him the texts. I thought the best course of action was to talk directly to him, and perhaps hand him my phone so he could see the conversation himself, leaving no room for her to accuse me of making things up or photoshopping anything. It was awful to see him so upset about it, and I get the feeling things will get worse because, from what he said, it sounds like Lily might not be around much longer, and regardless of that, she won't be allowed back in my house and won't spend time alone with Sarah if he doesn't break up with her. Yesterday morning, I also went and opened a safety deposit box at a local bank. It's not the one I usually work with, and as of right now, my name is the only one on it, and I have the only key. I was worried about Lily having any form of access to the jewelry when it was in the house, and until everything is settled, I feel better knowing there's no way she can get to it. Joe and I also discussed this when he came over, and he said he fully agreed that this was the best course of action to protect Sarah's inheritance. All but one of the pieces I picked out have also been put in there, and though I wanted to keep a few pieces to wear to remember her on really hard days, I'd rather know it's safe, and I still have a piece that brings me so much comfort. All notarized documents will be sent to me and will arrive here by the weekend, as I arrange a meeting with a lawyer to determine what else needs to be done to ensure the jewelry reaches Sarah without any issues or challenges. I spoke with the aunt who sent everything over the weekend after I posted this, and got so much helpful advice, thank you all, and asked her to send copies of everything related to it, along with documentation from her as the executor of who received what, etc. I didn't tell her about the issues with Lily. I didn't think it was my place, and I'll leave it to Joe to decide whether or not to tell his family, when he sees fit. Today I have an appointment with a GIA certified appraiser, so I can take everything to the lawyer, as well as photos and videos I took of each piece last night. I'm still leaning towards a trust as the best way to ensure Sarah's interests and assets are protected, but we'll see what the lawyer says and go from there. I feel terrible for Joe. He's a great guy, and even though our marriage didn't work out, I still care about him and always will. He's not just the father of my child, but one of my best friends, and I want him to find someone who loves him the way he deserves to be loved. It's just that whoever that is needs to understand that Sarah always comes first, and he and I will always work as a team to ensure she's happy, healthy, and successful in life. Nothing will stand in her way. Thank you all for the comments and for giving so much good advice and support. I truly appreciate it more than I can say. I didn't expect this to blow up like it did, and honestly, it's been really overwhelming. I probably won't update or add anything else here, so thank you again.